Counting is underway after Ethiopians voted in twice delayed elections on Monday. African Union observers found the vote was peaceful and credible amid international concern over famine and conflict. With a large turnout, some polling stations had to stay open overtime.
I am happy because it was peaceful. I voted in this polling station. Things were orderly. The only problem I saw, there were long queues, and the pace was slow. Apart from that, all went well.
But a day after the vote, a military airstrike on a market in the war-torn Tigray region clouded the vote. Survivors were brought to hospitals after what witnesses described as aerial explosions at the peak of trading in the market in the town of Totoga. Dozens were killed, though the military said it targeted rebels. The fighting in the Tigray region has damaged Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's reputation as a peacemaker. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2019 for healing ruptures with neighbouring Eritrea. But he sent the military to Tigray last November to dislodge the opposition-ruled state government. Nearly 8 months later, fighting continues, which has triggered a humanitarian crisis. The UN warns 350,000 people are on the brink of famine. The elections were Abiy's first electoral test since coming to power in 2018. He declared them a historic day for Ethiopia. But voting did not take place in all parts of the country, with some regions plagued by ethnic violence and famine. Logistical problems, including the delivery of ballot papers, also prevented voting in some areas. Some regions will rather have voting in September. Abiy's ruling Prosperity Party is optimistic about the results. Ivory Coast's ex-president Laurent Gbagbo has returned home after 10 years in exile. Gbagbo was arrested and deported in 2011 after months of violence sparked by his refusal to concede defeat in an election. But a decade on, many still revere him as a hero.
He's returned! It's over! It's over!
I'm more than happy. Today Laurent Gbagbo has arrived. It is like the whole Ivory Coast has come back to life.
Current President Alassane Ouattara, who beat Gbagbo in the 2011 vote, approved his return shortly after Gbagbo's acquittal of crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court. The conflict that followed his refusal to give up power claimed about 3,000 lives.
I am glad to be back in the Ivory Coast and back in Africa.
His return was not without incident. Police used tear gas to disperse those who went to greet him at the airport. Scuffles broke out between law enforcement and Gbagbo's supporters. Despite unrest in the short term, authorities hope his return will ease tensions in the long run. They are seeking to recast him in the role of a statesman who can calm the waters after Ouattara won a third term in office last year in elections marred by violence. Barely back in the country, Gbagbo focused on personal matters, filing for a divorce from his wife. Simone Gbagbo wielded significant political influence as First Lady and was arrested alongside her husband in April 2011. Her future role in the Ivorian political landscape is unclear. South Africa is facing a third wave of COVID-19 infections. The number of registered cases has rocketed since April, from less than 800 a day to more than 13,000. The curfew has been extended, and in the capital Pretoria, in the worst-hit province of Gauteng, the army has been sent in to help overwhelmed hospital staff.
It's scary actually, with the numbers growing so much and people still skeptical, people still not wearing masks and everything. So we really do encourage people to please come and vaccinate so that we can beat this virus.
South Africa is the worst hit nation on the continent, with almost 1.8 million cases. But just 1% of the population has received a vaccine. The country will host Africa's COVID-19 vaccine production facility, the WHO announced this week. A technology transfer centre will pave the way for vaccine production hopefully by next year.
We just cannot continue to rely on vaccines that are made outside of Africa because they never come, they never arrive on time, and people continue to die.
This music is Afrobeats, Ghana's particular Afro-pop, and Stonebwoy is one of its kings. His contagious rhythms are streamed and downloaded around the world. Neighboring Nigeria has long dominated the scene, but beyond Accra's clubs, Ghana's Afrobeats is coming into its own.
My music is not sometimes, it's not traditional music only. It has blends of both traditional music and what a foreigner can relate to. So that's why we have used that method to appeal to the world, because you can appeal to people from all walks of life.
Afrobeats is an umbrella term that captures a range of West African music. Its sounds are more pop and its themes less about social justice than the more well-known Afrobeat, beat without an S. The hit One Dance featuring Canadian superstar Drake and Nigeria's Wizkid propelled Afrobeats into the global mainstream. But thanks to artists like Stonebwoy, Ghana is stepping out of the shadows of its large neighbor. Ghanaian Afrobeats is known for highlife, a music form from the colonial era. It combines traditional rhythms of the Ashanti people with instruments brought by the British colonizers.
One of my biggest influences would and should be highlife music, because I do highlife music. You pick a couple of my songs, you find highlife music. I have a lot of highlife melodies embedded in my songs, so highlife is a very strong foundation.
Musicians attribute their music's wide appeal to its mixture of genres.
And Ghana music actually stands out because I think it's more complex and advanced than other musics in certain parts of Africa. I mean, when you take East Africa, the music is very 4/4, it's very straight. And when you come to West Africa, there's a lot of polyrhythms, there's a lot of groove.
In the past, maybe 5 years, Afrobeats has become huge, especially in America and London. You get, because there's the diaspora there. There's big, West African communities.
With a growing audience and various artists drawing millions of followers, Ghana's Afrobeat scene has caught the attention of international music labels. US giant Sony Music visited Accra earlier this year to scout for new artists.